pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes sir, I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head.
Yes, yes, we are back. Interesting conversation before the show. I just want to welcome in Sister Queen Diane, always on time, always on point, undergirding us with the supreme feminine energy.
Yeah,
you know.
Yes, love it.
You know, when you're around a real sister, a real woman, it makes us feel more like men. You see what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that's why they want to keep us separated from our woman. And I'm not saying something in a decadent way, right? I'm just saying the energy, the support.
Facts.
It gives me a boost. You see what I mean?
Me too.
Yeah. It strengthens us. Thank you, Diane.
Thank you, Queen Diane. But yeah, brother, man, it's like everything that we were talking about when we were chopping it up, we're going to talk about today because we're in a time now, like we were talking about, that the earth is in its circadian rhythm. And we're the ones that's the closest connected to this.
That's right.
So others have, and I like the terminology you used the last time, this container of pain. You can see it anytime I cut on anything on YouTube or anywhere. Their number one weapon is hate, racism, what is it? When they try to discourage you, depress you. And it's all because we know that misery loves company. But we're here today to celebrate our great heritage, man, and nobody can stop that. I don't know. I'm sorry for them and their anguish, but we're here today to celebrate our great heritage. And again, Brother Lance, I want to thank you, man. We are in a time where if we don't stand up, they are going to try to steamroll us and our young people. And so, as I promised you, I'm going to sing this song that obviously is a spiritual song.
Yes.
From the souls of Black folks, which they can't connect to. But their national anthem is one of bombs, murder, you know, taking away something from people.
Yeah.
And then in the third stanza, it talks about unalivened slaves. So they can skip around that all they want, but you're asking a lot of a people, not only to be subject to this national anthem, which most Black folks don't really have a problem with, right? We grew up singing it. Mm-hmm. But now on the same, in the same token, you're asking us to deny our heritage like you've always done, right? To deny our excellence and greatness because you are inferior, not that you feel inferior. You're showing your inferiority when if I have to tell ants they can't build ant mounds in order for me to feel good, then something is wrong with me, not the ants.
That's right.
So we're going to celebrate today our great heritage. At the same time, we're going to expose this demonic activity that seems to permeate throughout America. So when you're ready, brother, I'm going to sing, lift every voice and sing.
Bring it, brother.
Okay, then we can get right into it. All right, y'all ready?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, here we go. It's the introduction coming up. Let us march on till victory is won. And it hits differently when a Black man sings it. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Yeah. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun, let a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Okay, here we go. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the day that hope unborn had died. Yet with a steady beat, I have not a weary feet come to the place on which our Father sighed. We have come over a way that with tears have been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughter. Out from the gloomy past till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our star is cast. Okay, final stanza. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. Lead our feet straight from the places, our God, where we met thee. Leads our hearts drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadow beneath the hand, may we forever stand true to our God, true to our native land. Now, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry if you have a problem with our spirituality, but I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Brother, every time we talk, I see another talent that you have.
Yeah, I've always been a good singer.
Yeah.
I just don't, you know.
I grew up around it.
Yeah.
I can't really sing, only in the shower, but it takes something to be in front of people and actually sing. So, yes.
Yeah,
there's
and I've done that.
No studio, no sweetening of the sound, just coming raw.
Right.
That's right.
Like we used to do on the corners.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the best part of it. But I hope it didn't sound too. I had a little instrumental in my ear, so I can kind of follow.
No, I couldn't hear it. No, it keeps you in check. Yeah, that's good. It's okay. They can't detect that.
Yeah.
You know?
But you know, we have to think outside the box when it comes to the ways that they try to trap our people. you know, and man, I'm glad that we came up with this, because what you gonna say now?
Right.
So soon it'll be, we can't sing the national. I saw on I don't know, one of these YouTube channels that in Florida, the black children can't use the word black at a HBCU. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I didn't hear that. I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah, this is insanity.
Also on YouTube, eventually they haven't mastered it yet. Okay. But what you just did, singing the song, they're gonna try to strike that too.
I believe it.
They're not doing that now. They can only hear the music of someone who has copywritten music. But if you sing with your voice a copywritten song, they're gonna try to block that too. They're working on that right now, big time. They're working on a lot of things right now.
I believe that.
To corral our creativity and our soul felt expressions. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, you know, this is so, but when you look at it in terms of the warfare that we're fighting against, then we know that you're trying to, okay, so let's say they do take away the First Amendment in some form, even your own voice or whatever. There's Article 19, which is the United Nations, our right as a human being on this planet, that the majority of countries agree that we have a human right to speak.
Right.
So why is it that, well, we know why, and we're going to talk about it today, the white people in the United States, and before I get into this, I'll say, I met this British guy at one of the places, bookstores that I go to. And he said, you know, Mike, he said, you don't mind if I talk to you, do you? He said, I said, no, not at all. He said, how do black guys really feel here in America under the terrorism that you live under? I was shocked that he said it, because, you know, white people here don't talk like that.
I know.
But what I found is a lot of people from other countries, now I don't know what they do in their countries, but they are aware of the injustices that black people live under here in America. Yeah. And they don't like it. At least they express. So he said something, I'll get to the point, that made me, so I answered this question after I got over the initial shock. And I looked at him, I said, how long have you been in America? He said, about 6 months, right? I said, okay. I said, are you guys, well, obviously you got a wedding ring on, you have a family, you have children, you plan on settling down here in America. He said, oh God, no. He said, no way can I subject my I don't know the word he used for his wife and my children to this. This is insanity. And so I said, are you referring to the way that black people primarily and other people, other cultures in this country? He said, absolutely, this is tyranny. And that's how I came up with the subject about tyranny. And he said, this is absolutely, he said, if this was done where we're from, those people could never rear their head in public again. So there is something different. I know how the Western media, they like to play up all of the conflicts that cultures have. So they'll show us the conflicts that people have in Europe, Africa, other places, China, you know, the same old propaganda where you got to pull other people down. And when he used the word tyranny, I gave him a dap. I was like, okay, you do understand then.
Right.
He said, oh, yes. He said, I absolutely understand. And he said, we don't agree with Americans. You know what he meant by that. Yeah. He said, we totally disagree. He said, I've learned so much about real Black history. He said, American history is Black history. I said, yeah, you're right. And he'd been in this bookstore. And this guy that runs the bookstore, this brother, he's pretty cool. And he said, man, I'm glad you're here today. I was like, yeah. He said, because this guy has been coming in here a lot recently and asking me questions. And I told him, I said, I have a friend that normally comes in like once a week. Maybe he'll come in. And I popped up the next day. So you can tell I'm excited today. And I just want to greet you again, brother, and the family out there. And this is a subject that we have to discuss, because if we don't, I see them trying to rewrite the narrative. Okay, I see them doing that now. Okay.
On every level.
On every level.
On every level,
yeah. The danger is, because our people have never been taught real American history. Well, I'm just talking about, you know, a certain percentage of our people.
Right.
But there is a large proportion of white people in this country that grew up on straight lies. And now, and there is some part of them that knows that these were lies, because I heard this one guy, and then we can get into your banner, brother, but I heard this one guy say that when he went off to college, it was the first time he even heard about the Buffalo Soldiers. Or when, I mean, he was like, so he couldn't wait after the first semester. He took a course in Black history. Mm-hmm. And when he got back home, he said, I want to see Grandpa. And they said, well, you know, he went somewhere or blah, blah, blah. He said, no, I need to see him now. Because he said his father, you know, he's one of these white guys that grew up, let's face it, with this type of indoctrination that have really kept them like in a caterpillar state.
Right.
And so he said, no, I want to talk to Grandpa. He said, why? He said, I know he has certain types of artifacts from my great grandpa in the basement. I want to get his permission to look at it. Mm-hmm. And boy, when his grandfather, he was home for about a week. When his grandfather finally came home and he sat down and he said, I see that you are really studying good in the university. He said, well, I guess it is time for you to know certain things. And they went down in the basement, and he said, are you sure? He said, yes, I'm sure. I want to see it. And so the grandfather had, you know, pictures from his father, or the kid's great grandfather, in the 1800s, the early 1800s. And he was shocked. Like, he said, okay, he said, so Black people actually fuel the country and was 60% of the exports of the United States. That's true then, right? Mm-hmm. He had to admit, he said, yes, that's true. He said, okay, so why do white men say that they built America? And he had pictures. You see about 25 of these Black men. So his great-grandfather was in the import-export business. Mm-hmm. And boy, when you saw these brothers in the hot sun, like they were like machine, they were like robots.
Yeah.
And dude broke down crying. I was, wow. And it kind of made me kind of emotional for a minute. I was like, this is what it's going to take to save white America. Because either way, we're still going to deal with the same things that we have always had to deal with. So, brother, let's get into the presentation today. Let's look at this banner. I love it every time I see our young, vibrant young people. They always try to act like they're some type of predators, or, you know, they get the 10% and they put them up in the music. And they get a lot of our people to do this as well. Let's be real. Because like Dr. Amos Wilson said, there's no way that this small percentage of people can control 93%, 94% of the world's population, which is mainly Black people and brown people. Right. If at least 40% of those people were not complicit with this. So
yes.
yeah, shut up.
If you notice, there's the sun. I always try to implement the sun when we show our images.
That caught my attention.
Yeah, and I know you kind of like that style too. So I said I got to do it, especially for this one.
Yeah.
And if you also notice, there are chains that are broken in the back. They don't fully go all the way up. They end.
Okay.
So that was subtly put in there. And also with this black folks with their back turned, if you notice the Eiffel Tower in the back, which is slightly symbolic of how these planetary viruses are toward us, because we know France is not a good place for us to live. So I stuck that in there.
Okay.
Turn to it. See, so there are other things going on with that, but I wanted to show us with an air or a feel toward the future.
Okay.
By having younger individuals up there. Not that we don't have our role, but no, it's time to showcase the young adults.
Absolutely.
Right? Because that's the future.
That's the life.
And these are not tweens, these are not 15-year-olds, but if we have enough people in this age group of late 20s, early 30s coming up that have a certain knowledge, they can fight covertly and shrewdly with the knowledge that they have.
Yeah.
And this is what it's going to take.
I
agree. So we have to put those images out, because maybe you haven't heard it. I may do something on it if it doesn't get too viral and it makes no sense for me to talk about it. But they have and I'll take 90 seconds with this rapper named Sexy Red, who was really into the decadence.
Yeah.
She has no limits. She will do everything to break down in a bad way the image of our sister queens. So recently she made a song, and I can say the name because it's not a curse, but you'll know what she's talking about when I say the name. She made a spoof on Michael Jackson's song called the one named Beat It, but she made her own spoof on the song called Eat It, right?
Yeah.
Now, yeah, and she wasn't talking about eating a slice of pizza.
Right.
She was speaking about eating something else that starts with the letter P and has 5 letters in it. So this was a way to attack Michael Jackson and mar his legacy of being an excellent businessman and entertainer, owning half of Sony. He's still making money, his estate, but he's gone. And this is a way to offset our admiration for him in the future, and as an inspiration by breaking down one of his songs on such a filthy level. Now, let it be understood that between a man and a woman who love each other, there's nothing filthy. So it's a beautiful thing. I'm going to say that. But the way she put it out there, it's not.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
So we have to understand the tricks of the enemy, that the younger kids will hear that Michael Jackson song and not say beat it the way he meant, but they'll say it the other way, right? Because they're mad at the fact that Michael Jackson's family has generational wealth. They don't mind giving us $1 million or $2 to degrade ourselves and our people, because they know we're going to spend it out foolishly.
Yeah.
But they don't want us to have generational wealth into the future. And that's why those people that run the entertainment industry will allow something like this, but the estate of Michael Jackson is going to sue her and sue them, and they don't have a leg to stand on. But the attacks, and the reason why I'm saying this is that the attacks on us come on a multi-level way, not just racism, where you see it, or you see in the news in Mississippi, some principal call a little black kid the N-word or whatever, but they try to shift the perception of us that there's nothing good coming out of us.
Yeah, they rebrand like they're doing Michael Jackson. They rebrand all of our good stuff and then they put their usual demonic twist on it.
And I just want to say this also for those people who push the narrative that he was some kind of weirdo or some kind of strange guy. He's been in the entertainment industry from 5 years old.
Yeah.
He didn't have an average childhood. His father was a drill sergeant and maybe was a little heavy-handed, but he also was one of the reasons what drove Michael Jackson to the success that he had, even though Michael Jackson had his feelings toward his father a certain way. We would have never had him if he wasn't driven that way, which was heavy-handed, but he never had a childhood. So he lived vicariously through children, helping children, cancer victims. If they were in his presence and he was toward the bed or whatever, he's playing, he forgot that he's enjoying his childhood as an adult.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it shouldn't be a reason why we can't do that, but we have so many predatory people out in the world. They wanted to put that on him, right?
Yeah,
they worked hard to put that on him and destroy him, which they didn't destroy him, right? But the ones who are on that list, who've been doing stuff, taking children, exploiting them, sex trafficking, organ theft, they don't say a damn thing about those things.
I heard somebody say that Michael Jackson actually constructed Netherlands for the kids to hide away from these vampires.
Yeah,
I heard a spin on that.
Yeah,
but
and he made a mention of what they're doing, what's coming out now.
He did.
The thing that's always been going on.
Yeah.
See, we're in 2026 right now. We forget how fast the chronological time is moving on. And these things have always been, but because of technology, social media, and the ability to get people who are putting the word out there, we're hearing these things. But that thing is so terrible, but they try to put that on him.
Yeah, I saw that. I see that.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, the other thing too is, think about if a Black person had an island where they were taking underage mainly white boys and girls. They would blow that island to smithereens.
Right, exactly.
And everybody on it. So
and also,
how in the world do you, I mean, and then to try to still stand for the creator or your God, your anti-Black bigoted God.
They're trying to say that they stand for something righteous. We know it's different. Because if those who are truly righteous, they would stand up and bust it up and say something about it. There's too much silence. These so-called pastors, religious leaders, they know what time it is because a lot of them are in it also.
But you know what? They're scared of losing that tax-exempt status. That's what they're afraid of.
That's how they control them.
Oh yeah, when you're dealing with the Luciferians, they play by different rules because they write the rules. So the rules are not for them; it's for you and me.
Right.
And there are different levels of how these rules are applied, obviously. So, brother, you had any more thoughts on your banner?
Oh, no, not really. It's just, you know, the collective energies of us, you know, which shows unity, how we stand, how we have to look out for each other, and understand that we don't have many friends out there, and we can't allow other people to turn us against each other. And there are too many instances of us being turned against each other. And it seems as though the enemy is winning, but after a time, we have no choice but to understand what's going on. Because once we realize we have no friends in this world, you know, there may be one or two here who, you know, sympathize, but they're not going to put themselves out on the front line and lose what they think that they have. You got to be ready to lose everything to gain everything back. You got to be ready to lose everything.
That's an important point you're making there. And that's one of the things that I see, that because our people like things that give us status, that's all we stay focused on. And then we judge other people based on those standards. And we're going to show we're going to go in depth today about this.
Yes.
Because we have to have clarity moving forward with what we're dealing with. So, brother, I want to start out with the first visual. I know they're kind of small that you can't really determine.
That's no problem.
I'll let you.
Yeah, that's no problem.
I'll let you. Actually, I want to start with, you know, the one with Maya Angelou. I know why the cage bird sings. Before
yeah, I got it.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. So the reason why I brought this visual back up, because sometimes when there are certain energies that, you know, come at us, we lose focus about what it is that we're supposed to be focused on. And when I was sitting down putting together the visuals this weekend, I said, you know, what Maya Angelou said was very, very important. Because when you look at what we're going to discuss today, the big elephant in the room, the incarceration of Black men, and then before we go into the economic aspect of what we're going to talk about today, is that if you put a bird in a cage, or using your expression, the cage of pain, it's going to sing because that's the only thing it can do.
Right.
It's going to. So now the other birds that are free, or technically, they cannot relate to the type of vocals they're hearing from this cage bird. In other words, there is no spiritual connection between the cage bird and the birds that are flying free, sort of like with the caterpillar and the butterfly.
Right.
We don't even know if the caterpillar actually remembers the butterfly actually remembers the caterpillar. But you remember I told you I got in trouble with myself because I recognized that the spirit of that caterpillar, based on the law of polarity, is still somewhere in us. Even though there's a total metamorphosis, that caterpillar spirit is still in us, and we still have to actively fight against it. Yeah. I've heard some of your videos where you talk about, you know, what we must do and be disciplined to do certain things. Well, it's the same thing. We have a internal war basically against ourselves. Yeah. On an individual level and then on a collective level.
Yes.
But to finish with this visual, a cage bird basically feels things that no one else could feel, right? So why would I? And so when the cage bird, the cage is open and now the bird is free, or you want to try to still degrade us talking about woke, which woke is a great thing to me, because anytime they label something and use our coons and coonesses to try to bring us down, then we know this is meant for a higher revelation for us.
Right.
And you got to think that way. Okay. So when that cage is open and that bird is woke and it see that big ass sky, it's going to sing a song and it's going to keep singing it.
That's right.
And none of the other birds have a right to stop this bird from singing. All right, brother. So I want to go into the pictures involving the incarceration of the incarceration numbers, because this is the elephant in the room that has existed throughout our experiences here in America. I think it's the one with the globe, and it shows the actual. Well, no, keep going. It's a globe.
Okay, I see it.
Yes, that's it. Okay, thank you, brother. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to cover the 9 areas of human activity, which is economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. Now, I'm sure you guys can see this graph here, right? Now, you're talking about less than 4% of the world's total population. Okay, the incarceration rate in America is, I think it was 698 or 78%. Look at all the other countries. So the first question I want to ask the Christian nationalists, how do you explain this? How do you explain putting people in cages, basically, and then in the same breath, you're saying that you're a Christian nation, which really the real Christianity that they practice here is something totally different we're going to go into today. But just look at that graph for a minute. It speaks for itself.
Yep.
Now, look at the bottom of that list. Who do you see? Germany, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where Nazism was born, right? But kudos to the Germans. Mm-hmm. Look how they, I mean, look at their percentage of incarcerated people. That means when you say all men are created equal, then this is what it means right here. Now, if you've done something to harm another person, of course your butt should be locked up.
That's right.
But the majority of this incarceration comes from this so-called fake war on drugs. A lot of brothers are locked up for weed, believe it or not.
Yep.
But the other thing too is 45 million Germans live in the United States. It could be higher now. I'm talking 4 or 5 year old figures. So it stands to reason that the ones that are here are more like the ones that were back during Hitler's time. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to paint a brush and say, I'm saying the spirit of that is here.
Right.
This cannot be denied. This cannot be denied. What is England has the closest rate is how much? Can you see it, Lance?
Yeah, 148.
Look at
per
that.
100,000.
Look at that. And ours is 698 per what?
Per 100,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Canada is 106 per 100,000. France 100 per 100,000, and Germany 78 per 100,000.
So now, what does this say about the people in power in the United States? It speaks for, and that's why I got all of this data from a PBS documentary. Okay. And the reason why is because I didn't want them to do what they always do when our scholars present the same data and everything. They're going to say, oh, well, this is some of that Black nationalism statistics. No. Mm-hmm. These are from your most prestigious institutions in America. Right. Okay, brother, let's go to the next one. Now, it's some interesting things. Oh, yeah, I saw that statement, Queen Diane. That is absolutely true. 1,000%. It is a business to them. We know that by also, I heard this lady talking about the private prison industry and how they are saying that, you know, they need more people. You know, they've invested in this industry that they got to get people. It's crazy, man. All right, the next statistic. Yeah, okay, great. Now this is very important. Lance, I might need your help here because it's small on my side too.
Sure.
This is the risk. Now this is something that has happened that has really, really changed the dynamics, the socioeconomic dynamics of Black people. The risk of parental imprisonment, I believe in 1978, it was 15.2%, and it doubled by what, 2019 or 2009?
Oh, actually 1990, it was
1990. Oh God,
28.4%.
Look at that.
So in a short 12 years, it went from 15.2% to 28.4.
Now that was
which
during
is
the
roughly
crack.
twice, doubled.
Yeah, that was during the crack academic, right? Epidemic.
Yeah, that was engineered.
Yeah, that was engineered. They killed that guy. What's his name? William Cooper, I think it is. Behold the Pale Horse. That exposed this. And so now, in contrast, look at the white children whose parents are incarcerated as opposed to black children.
Right. 1978, 2.4%. 1990, 4.2%.
That is, and you know, the reason why I like, and I know statistics can, you know, fluctuate based on certain things, demographics and other things. But for the most part, PBS is not going to put this data up without it being under the scope, such as the Smithsonian. So this is why they're even mad at white institutions now, because they refuse to take down or stop publishing the truth about real American history. So you can shut down and erase Black history in museums and things that you give money to control, same Luciferian playbook. But now you're going to see an attack, mark my word, on the universities as well. That's the next progression, because people know, and on organizations, news organizations like PBS, who does wonderful work. But yeah, this in itself, it would take us a week to go into the social dynamics of having, and this is 1990, huh?
Right. Look, that's when a lot of things were just jumping off.
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine to even go up another 12 years?
Wow.
And they come up to the present time?
Wow.
You know, I mean, the drugs alone.
Yeah.
You know, fentanyl and methamphetamine and, you know, crack. Crack was like aspirin compared to what they have out now.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's engineered, but you know what? It's getting a lot of them too.
Bruh.
It's getting a lot of these other people who lived out in suburbia of a different color, and they think they were isolated from it. And the poison they put out for us is seeping into their world also.
Man, you can see it everywhere you go.
That's
like
right.
Big cities like San Francisco, Oakland, anywhere you go in the Bay Area, man, it's like somebody has dumped pounds of this fentanyl. And then they got this new drug called crank, which is the horse tranquilizer. And they mix it with fentanyl. Imagine that. And it eats holes in people's legs and arms, and it's gross.
You mentioned horse tranquilizer, and it just rang a bell. There was an inmate who was incarcerated in Orlando, Florida, when I worked in corrections there. And he happened to be a gay Black man.
Okay.
And we had a hospital run. And this was before they had a hospital crew dedicated, right? So I was the guy elected to sit with him in the hospital while he got treated. He was HIV positive, but it was something else wrong with him. So I'm always asking questions, and I'm always keeping my ear open no matter what it is for information.
Yeah.
Then after that, there was a situation where the same inmate had claimed to have been raped.
Wow.
So ironically, when he went to get we went to the detectives, and they had to do, I forgot what you call it, but the whole sexual rundown, your history, your background, everything you ever did. And he was speaking about the horse tranquilizers. And when he was out in the world, cruising the bars, going to the nightclubs where they're just having all this encounters with each other. Yeah. Horse tranquilizers were very popular in the gay community. I don't know if it was anywhere else. I'm just saying what I heard, because it helps them to relax.
Really?
That part of them back there when somebody's hitting them. Horse tranquilizers. So There's all of these different drugs that people are using for different reasons and then combining them. And you see how these people look in the street. They look so sucked in, worn out. Their internal organs are damaged. Their minds, the brain, these things are going through their brains. They're zombies. There's all kind of things. And there's something else coming out stronger too. Mark my words.
Oh, no question. Because it's going to be the final blow. And you know what? For years, this show about zombies was a #1 show on cable TV for like 10 years. Yeah. You remember that show?
Yeah. But that's to prepare us mentally. That's coming.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's here. They're like the media, they don't really go in places unless it's some guys or women that's doing private type of journalism like you do and other people. That's the only way it's getting out, because the major outlets now, they're handcuffed and they're bought out, and they're not going, and they're trying to censor as many people as they can. Okay, brother, let's see what the next visual is concerning this situation here.
Let's see what this is.
Okay. Okay, so we're talking a 30-year period where it says the imprisonment is that Black men that are high school dropouts under 35. So it went from 15% of this demographic of Black men being incarcerated to 68%. Now, 2009, that's almost 20 years ago. God knows what it is now. But now, this is not the only demographic that this is happening to. This is happening to Black men across the board, no matter what your academic level is, no matter what your economic level is. They stop even Black police chiefs on the street, Black judges.
Yeah.
So it stands to reason when we talk about why we saying lift every voice and sing is, how do you, when you look at hope, faith and hope, the things that they say they believe in their religion, which they show that they don't. If people don't have, and our people, because we have that living fire in us, I don't know what kind of ghost they talking about, but we have fire, living fire in us. And that fire has to come out. That's why you see a lot of our, you can really see it in our young people acting out.
Yeah.
Like you'd be like, what's wrong with them? Why are they so hyped up? That energy is caged and bottled up because they can't express their real emotions because they'll be penalized for it. And so in their subconscious, they know this. This is another reason why our people seek a lot of attention.
Right.
And will do anything to get it. Unless you're doing business like you and other people, then there's no reason for you to keep regurgitating all of this negative stuff day after day after day. This makes no sense. And so if your mind is, because energy attracts what you think about all day long. So if we're, and during this period is when they brought in a certain genre of music as well, right? Then you start seeing, you know, because our Black men who are at a certain level economically, they look at them like, okay, you really don't have no value to us because we can replace you through labor. We have robots. We have other cultures that are willing to work for $5. You know, we ain't got to pay you $20 an hour. You see what I'm saying? So when you look back at sharecropping and how they kept their books, you see the same dynamic centuries ago.
Right.
It's never changed. This feudalism system has never changed. And I was watching how they were showing how when the Emancipation Proclamation was first announced. And of course, we know in Texas, while they celebrate Juneteenth, they found out, what, 2 years later? And that their celebration was so great.
Right.
Just to have the slave owner to come to you and say, call you Mr. or Miss or Mrs. And so when we first processed this, it was like a Jekyll and Hyde situation. But he also talked about what happened after the first 24 hours. Then you had the older slaves going back to the slave masters saying, well, you know, we spent our whole life here. We don't have nowhere to go. We don't have no land, no money. What are we supposed to do? So this is when they created the actual sharecropping concept with the convict leasing and all of the things that go with that. Right. Okay, brother, we can go to another to another visual. That's amazing there, huh?
Yeah, yeah. And when you see it in front of you, it's okay. Let me see this other. I think, did we use this one already?
Yeah.
Yeah, we use that one already. Let me remove this because we can only.
No, Lance, we didn't use this one yet. This is a very important one.
Oh, okay, this is different. It looks similar to the other one. I'm sorry.
It looks similar to the other one, but this one right here cuts right to the chase. Now, I need you to do something for me. That says, because it is really small here, incarceration rates, right, based on white, Latino, and Black people up to...
In 2010.
What year?
This is 2010.
Okay.
And it's per 100,000 individuals.
Okay.
And the white population, it was 380.
Okay.
With the Latino population, it was 966.
Okay.
With the Black population, it was 2,207. Look at that.
That speaks for itself.
Yeah.
And that's 2010. That's 15 years ago. God knows what the percent. So when they say these things about Black people and the issues we have, and why do you have a Black national anthem? Because you ain't never been caged. Look at this. So we say that America is the most, what's the term they use? Civilized country in the world. Really? I'll quote a statement that I always love, and I always love to hear James Earl Jones say it, by a great esteemed brother, Frederick Douglass. He said, the atrocities that have been committed against Black citizens in the United States is so wicked that it would, by default, and I'm missing a few words here, but I got the main point. Right. It would shame a nation of savages. He said that these acts towards Black citizens, the atrocities that have been committed, and you can't erase Frederick Douglass. I don't care what you do. Okay, you can't erase him. The atrocities committed against our people is to such an extreme that it would actually shame a nation of savages. That speaks for itself.
Yep.
So you're going to tell me, looking at these statistics today, why you see, and I know what they're going to do in these different places that they see the video. The first thing they're going to do, rather than admitting the truth that comes from their scholars and their greatest institutions, rather than admitting the truth, then they're going to go back to the caterpillar, regurgitation of lies. And that's why I always say you can't have butterfly conversations with caterpillar people. And this is why Black people, particularly in religion, continue to have this faith and hope in an institution that's not based on the same spirituality that you are. That's something our people are going to have to wrap their heads around at some point for us to move forward. Not to eliminate the Black church, but to change your comprehension of who the real creator is. Okay. And for the record, it's not the anti-Black bigoted God of America. I don't care who don't like it. These are facts. I didn't create this, but we're not going to live under this anymore. Like our national anthem said, you know, beneath the hand. The only hand we're beneath is the Creator. And we'll stand here in our native land, which we were here before you. And so you're the only one that really was exported here. So we're not going to fizzle and go away. And the numbers speak for themselves. If we never even talk about this, okay, brother, you can go. That's an astonishing graph.
Yeah, it makes you see the size disparity. Man. And that was 2010.
That was 2010.
That was 16 years ago.
Wow.
You see? Could you imagine?
It's hard to get. So what they do, these type, yes, perfect. These type of statistics are hard to get because they are, I guess, shadow banning them, or, you know, like they do us. Yeah. They are controlling the distribution of it. Now, this is a very, very important graph for Black people here. So we see the prison industrial complex. The first thing you see is mental health treatment. So what they say, well, here's a mental health problem, or she has a mental health problem. We're going to send them to the nurse, who the nurses are in cahoots for them to make money. So they need to put them on psychotropics so that institution gets more money, just like in special education. The same thing. They made so much money off of our young people from a period of probably 1980 to 1995, 2000, where they had most of our young boys on Ritalin. And when you see older Black men today standing on these street corners in these big cities, chain smoking, that's one of the side effects of Ritalin. When they were, you know, teenagers or whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that mental health treatment, that's a way for them to siphon money, okay, for so-called mental health treatment, which the answer is to bombard your system with more chemicals. And so
and to render you useless.
Yes.
That you can't really get back into society with a straight mind.
No, you can't. Once you have that label, it's like a lobotomy. Okay, where now you're labeled, and on top of that, you're carrying the stigma of having been in these institutions.
That's right.
Okay, the next one is what? A community service, right? Mm-hmm. So when you do these community services, you have to act like a minion. You know, you have to walk around mainly with your head down, like, I've done something so wrong. I've committed such a, you know, because most of the people that do community services, they've done little light stuff. You know what I mean? They ain't unalive nobody or rape nobody. Who those people need to be incarcerated. They have not done, you know, or destroyed somebody's property.
Right.
But the majority of our brothers and sisters that are locked up for little stupid stuff, like they would arrest back in the convict leasing time. Our brothers, they say, oh, you stole that. Where you get that bubble gum from? You must have stole it because you ain't got no money to buy it. And it was a wrap.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so you know, this community, and you see this today, where, but the other thing about community service, it was set up for white males to have a way out, right? Rather than going through the system, right? So that's why you see that big disparity.
That's true.
Because that community service was a way to say, okay, this is how you pay your debt to society, and we'll just move you on through the system, out of the system. Okay. Public shaming. This is what I was talking about. Mainly, they do this to Black men. Now, there are a lot of people that commit similar crimes, but for Black people, there are certain crimes that is part of this labeling and stigma that they have always put on our people. So it's a sort of like a public shaming. Oh yeah, you know, that injure is just like we, you know, like we said.
Right.
But then other people will commit the same thing. Oh, they were under so much pressure. Like the Paul Moody joke, right? Paul Moody joke, like, okay, so the white man, he goes in and he kills up all these people in the company he used to work for. And they said, white man, why did you go into, you know, Walmart and kill all those people? He said, well, you know, I have 5 personalities, and sometimes, you know, a couple of them take over and I can't control it. I said, interesting. This is a phenomenon we need to study. We really need to find out about these 5 different personalities, if they can cause people to do something this insane. So the Black man comes into court. So they asked him, Black man, why did you go into BET and kill up all those people? He said, well, yeah, I have 5 personalities, and you know, one of them just kind of took over and I couldn't control it. And that's the one, you know, I can't figure out which one did it, because, you know, all 5 of them, so 3 of them are violent or something like that. And you know the response, oh, really, Inja? Really? Okay. Well, one of those personalities is going to be locked up tonight.
Pick one.
Your Black ass ain't walking out this courtroom today. And then we'll figure out which one of them 5 personalities committed it. How about that?
Right.
And we're going to put you on death row or wherever you need to go.
Exactly.
The boot camp. So now the boot camp situation is where they have this militarized, Lance, you know all about this. This militarized situation, I guess it was mainly for young people, where they get a second chance. They go through this sort of like, they used to have a show that came on TV. I can't remember the name, but they would take these first offender teenagers that want to be tough, you know, how they tell everybody in America, you got to be a badass to be somebody, which is the lowest of the low, bullying people. But you remember, I can't remember what it
Scared
was like.
Straight.
Scared Straight, that's it. So this is the whole philosophy behind these boot camps.
That's the late 70s.
Yeah. And I believe they cut your time, right? If you go to one,
if you went to, and they would have the inmates come out and get in their face, yelling and screaming.
Right.
And you see you over there with that smirk on your face. If I had you in a cell with me, you'd be my BITCH. I'd have you bent over, and they're sitting here, you know what I mean? And you had 1 or 2 who tried to challenge and act tough, and most of them just cried.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah, because when you're when you're in a situation where you can't control anything, then now you see the real deal. Also halfway houses. So this also was a concept that was established to filter a certain demographic through without going directly to the system. Okay. And a lot of underage or minors go through this system.
But see, those halfway houses were the breeding ground for a lot of other things.
Yeah, they were.
the taking advantage of the youth that were there, and all different, you know, that we had two close, not really super close, but a few blocks away.
Yeah, I've been to get close to one too.
Yeah, yeah. And so you saw, we didn't treat anybody any different, but you saw that they had issues, and they didn't really blend in with the neighborhood. They were really like loners, because, you know, you had nice houses and families and stuff, and they were known for being in the halfway house. So there was an element of shame there also. You know, and standoffishness from many of the people who lived in the neighborhood and who own homes, because it's like, we don't know what he did, or we don't know what they're into, and they're a little strange, or, you know, you might see him in the street walking down to the store and they say, "What's up?" You say, "What's up?" That's about it. But you know, those are breeding grounds for a lot of things, especially with the young ladies. Those halfway houses were really
a lot of drugs going in and out of there, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one that I lived, that was in the same block I lived on. Then you have the drug courts and the rehab, which is basically just a setup. Because let's face it, if you have a serious drug problem, then you're just on a hamster wheel. Because this is another way that they know they have a certain percentage that they're gonna always get paid for.
Yeah,
they're not gonna get out of that, right? They're not gonna get out of that.
Look at heroin and methadone and the methadone clinics.
Yeah, methadone.
And you're still getting high off the methadone. And the guys going in to get the methadone, they would take the pill, put it under their tongue, and spit it out.
Yeah.
Several told me, and they called them spitbacks.
Yeah.
And they would take the methadone and sell it to get money to go back and get heroin.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but
not all of them,
but yeah.
You remember when back in the day, you see these lines at 12 o'clock, you start seeing them at 11 o'clock around these clinics to get methadone.
If you remember Queens,
you're
coming down from Merrick Boulevard and Jamaica Avenue down to Parsons Boulevard and Jamaica Avenue, and before you hit Sutphin Boulevard, they had a park called Rufus King's Park.
Yeah.
And there was a big white historic, whoever Rufus King was, they had a plaque and everything, but it was a big park, and at nighttime, you had a lot of the heroin addicts.
I remember that part.
Yeah, and they would be there all night, and they had a clinic, a methadone clinic close by. And you also had prostitution going on in the park, right in the bushes, right on the benches. And we'd walk through there to cut through to go to Parsons Boulevard to the subway. You know, because remember, at one time, the E train wasn't on Archer Avenue.
Right.
The E and the F were on Hillside. So you had to go to Hillside.
Hillside.
So we hit McDonald's on Parsons and hit the train and go into the city. But going through there, you know, we were younger, so it was a joke to us in a way. I hate to admit that, but you know, you see everybody nodding out. You're looking at them. You're like, oh man, look at them. This guy. It's almost like right now with the fentanyl.
Yeah.
You know, they're nodding out. It was something. They were just all there. You know.
Yeah.
And, these are vivid memories that I have, and I never forget them. You know, they didn't do anything to us, but you know, there's a lot of them out there.
A lot
of them. Yeah. Like
I
say,
everyone did a number on our community too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Also was the fines and restitution. Now there are some jurisdictions where if you don't pay your fine, you can be rearrested, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
how are you going to get it if you can't get a job, depending on what you did? Then you're going to have to go and do something illegal to pay.
Yeah.
You get caught with that.
To do something illegal.
You have a new charge and still have the restitution to pay.
You're going to have to do something illegal.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. Sex offender treatment. That's where these people need to be at, these files. That's what they need. But they're never going to have to go to sex offender treatment. Okay. Methadone is also just a way to transfer drug addiction from one. Ah, yeah, true. That's absolutely true. And shout out to the brother Mad Guns. I love that
Mad
name.
Guns Monster in the house. Yes.
Yeah, Strawberry 32. Yeah, so yeah, so you know, the thing is at the least of their punishment, they should have to go to sex offender treatment and then be labeled as a sex offender like all other people.
Yeah.
And they also should have to pay the price for what they have done, mainly again to young white boys and girls. Now, we know this history because the Catholic Church has the same history. Also, house arrest.
Welcome, Les.
Where you have to put on what is an ankle monitor.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And if there are some people, that's another setup. That's another setup.
They have maps also that you can check in your area, in your very area.
Yeah.
Where the sex offenders are.
Yeah. They have an app for that. Yeah.
Yeah. I checked certain areas of Orlando when I lived there, and I was surprised to see how many were around in the area.
Yeah.
And a lot of them I knew from when I worked in the jail. And then when I started driving the bus, I knew a lot of them that way also. And there was one he was dangerous. A guy named Big Randy. He called himself
anytime
Big
you
Randy.
attack a child, you're dangerous.
Yeah.
You're dangerous to society.
But he had kidnapped people, and this guy was so loud, and he always wanted to try to impose his strength on me. A big guy.
Yeah.
And I would be on a layover. And there was something about me that kind of ticked him off. It's just talking loud and, yeah, man, you look like you kind of strong, but I'm stronger than you. So, you know, I wasn't supposed to do it, but we sparred off a little bit. And he said, man, you pretty good, but I can knock you out. But you know the thing that intimidated him? Talking about intelligent things. I said, man, when's the last time you ever read a book? After that, you just
shut it down.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. And you know, again, there's so much more. The last one is what is that? Restorative justice. Now, I don't know what they mean by restorative justice, because they're not looking to restore anything in anybody. Okay.
Right.
That is just a play on words, because we all know that there is no such thing as restorative justice in America.
That's right.
I don't know the exact number.
I'm gonna read off what I just pulled up.
Okay.
Restorative justice is an approach focusing on repairing the harm caused by criminal behavior by actively involving victims, offenders, and the community in a process of dialogue, accountability, and reconciliation. It seeks to mend relationships, address underlying causes of crime, and empower victims, often using methods like mediation, and conferencing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's what it's supposed to be.
That's what it's supposed
Short
to
answer.
be. Yeah. But that, so we all know that there is something called the letter of the law and then the spirit of the law. Just like I can make agreements. Well, we've had over 500 agreements broken between the U.S. government and citizens.
Right.
Our indigenous citizens.
Right.
So who's to say? And I was just watching a movie the other day, or documentary, about these same white senators, governors, and Congress people back in the 1800s, when they were denying Black people the right to vote, when they destroyed Wilmington, which, see, there are several, like Durham, North Carolina, right, was another Black Wall Street. Yeah, more millionaires there, Black millionaires, than even in Tulsa. So the thing that they were discussing, these powerful men, they were like, okay, we're going to have to make the 15th Amendment so hard. Like they had to, now these are people who just basically, since you only told them they couldn't even read the Bible, they had to have somebody preach it to them. But now you're asking them to write the word emancipation backwards, or how many, I mean, ridiculous questions on the voting application. It's just, and so for these people to have this attitude about lift every voice and sing, something is wrong with you. Do you not know your own history? Why Black people sing this song of faith and hope?
But other thing, how dare we have faith and hope after all we've been through?
Right.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
In their mind, it's like you have roaches and you empty the can of roach spray thinking you killed the roaches, and you still see some more roaches running around alive. I'm not calling us that. That's how they see us. Because they know what they've done. They know the traps that they set. They know. They know.
They know.
Yeah.
Because
so when they see us with no record or upright and living clean, it's like they're seeing a ghost, like you're not supposed to be.
Exactly.
We got to destroy you because we can't have you inspire others to be like you if you live clean.
Right. Like when Thurgood Marshall walked through that side door, they thought they saw a black ghost because they had already set up for him to be hanged by the river.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when we see the hand of our real creator throughout history, no matter what they did to us, see, at the end of the day, real racism is rooted in their fears. And you can see this in all of their holidays. There's some reason, something that they feared. In Halloween, it was they feared their dead relatives coming back to haunt them. You know what I mean? In every single one of their holidays, something is rooted in fear. The reason why they fear us so much, again, they know what they have done to our people for over 400 years, close to 500 years. Every Black man, man, woman, and child you see walking around is a miracle in America. That was a fact. Psychologically, you should have a vegetable for a brain. Physically, you should be at a point where all the fight is out of you. How dare, like you just said, how dare you sing?
And no fire in your spirit.
No fire in your spirit.
That's right.
How dare Coco Jones wear a representative of the great flag that Marcus Garvey, our greatest economic ambassador, designed? It wasn't no Black Pan-African, no Black nationalism that they're trying to build this. This was from the UNIA organization, global organization that Marcus Garvey started. So the United Negro International Association. So they're always lying about stuff. And then because Black folks believe a lot of these lies, they never go back and look at the real reason for this. That flag has such a major significance for the economic survival. It reminds us, whenever we see that green, black, and red flag, it reminds us what our economic possibilities and blueprint, is. And then you see the spirit living in our young brother, in a Kibalon, that came down through our genetic. And the one thing I love about him is he recognizes our genetic memory bank. He recognizes that what he's doing is not something that he generated. He's just carrying the torch.
Right, right.
And so I don't want to go off into that because they got our people fighting against our greatest strength. So I don't want to get off into that. Right. So, yeah, brother, you want to put up, before we go into the economic aspect, you want to put up another, I believe it's one more visual about incarceration, maybe not.
Okay, let me check because there's still 4 more that I have to upload now that we're making space for it.
That's right. Yeah.
let me see what this is. This is a quote. This may not be. No, that's not it.
Yeah, that's part of the economic aspect we're going to discuss.
That's the economic thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's go on talking. We made more space. I'm going to upload because I have them numbered and my computer has a lot. So just talk for the next 90 seconds and I have those up.
Absolutely, brother.
And they might pop up on the screen if you talk.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about real U.S. history, okay? The history of the U.S. is written down in black and white, and it has always been about black people and how to control us. Every colony had a convention, like the one I was just talking about, to discuss issues pertaining to the colonies and the future of the black slaves. Okay, this is a fact. We can look at two of what they call our founding fathers. Okay, whenever you're ready, we can go. But hold on for a second on the visuals, Lance. I want to set up this how we got into this economic aspect of what we're talking about today.
Okay. See, I just have to upload 3 more.
Okay.
Right? And when they upload, they pop on the screen, but I'll take it off until we need it. But just keep talking. I'm just gonna while you talk, I'm gonna upload them.
Okay, so we're gonna discuss 2 of our founding fathers who were discussing this dilemma that they had. And by the way, I want to say about the national anthem. This is also what they don't tell you about. Not the black national anthem, but the American national anthem is that what's his name? Key, Francis Scott Key, who they have the bridge in Baltimore named after. I used to have to drive across it every day, for professional reasons. But the Francis Scott Key was a slave owner. Okay, he owned 8 to 10 slaves. Now, is it fair to say that the mindset of an actual slave owner is something that black people can ever worship? I mean, help me out here, because some of these people talk like, when I listen to a lot of them, it's almost as if either they're lying to themselves or they're just stupid. I don't know which one it is. Because the reason why Francis Scott Key actually ended up at the Baltimore Harbor is because you had these black Marines in DC that were fighting with the British soldiers. Because I want to ask you a question. You got the British saying to black slaves, look, black people who were enslaved, if you help us liberate, why would you not fight for the liberation of you and your people? Who would not do that? This is what they brag about their conquests. That we fought against so-and-so and we won and the bombs bursting in air, but we're not supposed. So these black Marines actually pushed Francis Scott Key and them back to the Baltimore Harbor. And this is when he saw this other battle taking place. And he wrote this while he was looking. And at the same time, he was angry, threatening black folks, saying the hireling and the slave has no escape except for the grave. It's in the national anthem.
Right.
So don't come to me talking about something that some slave owner, anti-black person wrote, and then try to make me feel guilty because we want to sing our black national anthem. I don't care who you are. So this was the real reason why they ran him and some of these other slave owners who were trying to get the black slaves, trying to threaten the black, but these were black Marines. They were called the colonialists. And they didn't play. They single-handedly drove them back to Baltimore. So they don't talk about that part of the national anthem. So during this time, Patrick Henry brought up the fact that there are 236,000 slaves in Virginia and very few in the northern states. So he was talking to James Madison. And again, like I said, we know that they discuss these issues surrounding Black folks, their life force, right? So he was saying, what if they don't want to remain as slaves anymore? Or more importantly, we are in trouble if they decide to revolt. And under the new Constitution that was formed, that's why they're trying to destroy the spirit of the Constitution, which we cannot allow.
Right.
Okay. So he said, under the new Constitution, only Congress can arm the militia. In other words, they lose their power. And if that power goes back to Congress, which they have effectively neutralized, I don't know, I ain't even gonna get into that. But they were aware that this new Constitution actually gave teeth to Black people, okay? So now this was a major threat, because now you got all these Black folks, okay, and what you gonna do if they decide to revolt, like Denmark Vesey, who ended up being betrayed by one of our own people, like we have today. This is also a history of our people that we have to acknowledge. This is a fact. And then, so James Madison responded, he said, well, don't worry about that. There's no plan to emancipate slaves. So in other words, their goal was to have perpetual slavery. That was their goal. And you talking about, oh, the founding fathers was this and that. No, they wanted to keep your Black butt on those plantations, because that, as we're going to see when we get into the economic Black life force that they have to this day still enjoy the wealth of, we're going to see this. And so Patrick Henry said, well, what if they fight an army? What if we have to go to war? So they're asking these questions. Like they asked that, believe me, they still meet and they still discuss you and me. Okay. Yeah. They still discuss this. And then Patrick Henry said, is that going to make them free? And if we have to go to war, they can be armed under the Second Amendment. So in 1862, slave owners were paid reparations, $1 million for the loss of their property. So, which is $25 million today. So all this stuff they talking is gibberish. Okay, all of it is gibberish. So one other thing before we get into the economic, are you all right, brother?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Soaking it all in. Soaking it all in.
So we pretty much established the fact that why we sing Lift Every Voice and Sing. But we also want to go into their history to show what we're dealing with today. Okay. So in the U.S., let's talk about this before we move on from the when we talk about crime and statistics. In the U.S., less than 10% of white-collar criminals are female. 75% of those who commit property crimes, including embezzlement, counterfeiting, bribery, or fraud, are white. Bribery, 84.9% are committed by white males. And despite being 60.1% of the US population, they are 17% of embezzlers, or 17% of embezzlement cases take place in the financial services industry, which has the most white-collar crimes, which is 3/4 are white males. The number one crime in America as of 2022 is property crime. 6,000 6,513,829. But the one that they taunt, which they want to say our young people are doing, is the lowest. Violent crime, 1,332,428. Okay, so you have almost 6 times the amount of property crime or these white collar crimes that are being committed by 85% white males in America. Yet the media continues to promote that Black people are the highest criminal threat or biggest criminal threat in America. Also, identity theft is the fastest growing crime in America. According to the 2019 Uniform Crime Report of hate crime offenders identifiable by race, 61.5% is white, 28.7% is Black, 7.8% were groups of individuals of varying races, and 22.3% were Latino. Okay, so these are from their own institutions, and the last thing we're gonna discuss is the spiritual aspect of religion before we get into the economic aspect. Now, this is very important for us to talk about, okay? Because, again, a lot of our people are confused about who you're serving, okay? You can say that name with the J all you want. That does not change the reality or the boots on the ground, like Lance liked to say. All right, so let's get into the religious, what you're living under today and why you're living under this system and what was the beginning or origin of this system that you don't seem to comprehend. Although they're putting it in your face, and why they're separating white Protestant, neo-Nazi, nationalism, Christianity from you, okay? This is not by choice. And so when they say something about Black preachers and Black churches, they're saying that you don't worship the same God that they do. That's all they're saying. Okay, so it started with Pope Pius XI. He signed a concordat in 1933 with Hitler between the Vatican and the government of Nazi Germany. In 1933, almost all Germans were Nazis, okay? And all of the Germans who were Nazis were also Christians. Okay, let me say that again, because again, our people are going to have to get knocked in the head to realize how we must move forward. And stop worrying about these people talking about whether you're a good Christian or not. So in 1930, well, no, let me start from the top, so maybe you didn't hear, that Pope Pius XI, you can Google it, it's not Neil Fraser or LANCESCURV, signed a concordant with Hitler in 1933. Wow. Catholicism, yeah, the largest religion in the world, with Hitler between the Vatican and the government of Nazi Germany.
Amazing.
Yes, amazing. In 1933, almost all Germans were Nazis and all Nazis were Christians. So see, your idea of what a Christian is not what these folks are talking about.
Right.
And until you understand that and stop teaching our children this, I'm not saying there are scripts I still quote today, but I know it has a different significance to me and mine than what these Nazis are talking about. Why don't you understand that? Okay, so belonging either to the Roman Catholic Church, 20 million of them, the Germans, or Protestant 40 million member churches. So see, back then, they didn't separate because their religion is not just, I can't even use the word spiritual, but religious. Right. It's not just religious, it's political as well. So that's why you can have somebody killing and doing other stuff to babies on the island and nobody cares.
It's an ideological order.
It's man, that's perfect. Ideological order. Exactly. Yeah. That we're not a part of.
You know, it's funny because I knew a young lady who was working for the visiting nurse service in my neighborhood.
Okay.
And she would always stay inside with her patient in the patient's home. And one day I was passing by and she said, Lance, could you bring me a pizza and some soda? You know, I was much younger. This was the 70s. I said, okay. She gave me the money. And I might have been like 13 years old or something. So I brought her the pizza back, but she hit the front door unlocked. So she yelled from upstairs, come on up, bring it.
Okay.
I mean, I trusted her and everything. So here I am going to these people's house. It wasn't her house. It was a patient's house. So she said, bring it on up. So I'm walking with the pizza, bringing it on up. And it was a woman who was in her 80s, who was in the bed, and she was on her way out. Her mind wasn't right or whatever. When she saw me, oh boy, all kind of N-word, get him out of my house. If this was, she didn't say back in the day, in my time, we'd burn him too. She was a Nazi.
Oh yeah.
Miss Bartels was her name.
Wow.
And I left, you know, I mean, I wasn't scared, but you know, I said, here, we'll talk later and I understand. As I walked up the street, that woman, I could hear her voice talking about me.
Wow.
A real one from back in them days. Because if this was the 70s and she was in her 80s, she was a grown woman around that time in Germany. She was born before 1900. And she saw me and that glazed look like she was seeing a ghost.
Wow.
And she kept talking about me for days after that. You let an N-word in my house.
Wow.
I wasn't laughing.
Amazing.
It's not funny, but this is the state of the game. This is real life.
Yeah.
So that was another chisel on the sculpture of me.
Oh, yeah.
That I remembered.
Oh, yeah.
Feel that.
I have similar confrontations with people over my lifetime as well. And like I was telling you, the white people in Georgia, they have a different attitude, okay, than anywhere else. It's like they still have this attitude that you are beneath them. And that's why you see this fight against them even to this day, where they want to control you. And
that's that Forsyth, Georgia crap.
Oh my God, bruh. It is, and it's still like strong today.
Yeah.
When I look at some of the stuff that's going on, Black people still have to fight for, look how long John Lewis had to fight to just keep keep your spirit of what your intentions were for the 15th Amendment. Is that so hard? But you're gonna redistrict everything and take power from Black people like they did back then? So yeah, as hard as this is believed, it's true to believe. So now the German roots of Catholicism and Christianity is Nazism. Okay, that is the roots of it. Okay, the attitudes and actions of German Catholics and Protestants during the Nazi era were shared not only by their religious beliefs, but by other factors as well. This is why I was talking about the political aspect. That's why they can do things to you politically and then go to church on Sunday and worship Izul and not even worry about what they're doing to you. So they were also persuaded by this statement, on Positive Christianity
Okay,
in
let's see
Article
what's
24
going on here. Okay, we're back.
of the
I'm back at least.
Huh?
Brother Neil.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or anybody for that. Okay, good. We kind of buffered out for a second.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear now, loud and clear. Yeah.
Okay. So this was in 1920, the Nazi Party platform, which read, "We declare the freedom of all religious confessions in the state, insomuch as they do not jeopardize the state's existence for their political agenda or conflict with the manners and the moral sentiments of the German race." Ain't nothing in there about you. Okay. So these folks telling you that their churches are established to put forth their agenda, their party, about what they view as their moral sentiment. I don't know how they can use the word moral, but it may have a different meaning for them. Yeah, so now here's the other thing too. Hitler's Nazism forced people to worship him eventually instead of Caesar Borgia. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is a dangerous history that's being repeated, where eventually Hitler got to the point where, just like when you go back into their history with the Greeks wanting to create gods or deities that the black people in Kemet had to worship, and the saint to worship them as a deity, and also in Rome with these homicidal and genocidal emperors like Caligula and Nero. And I believe it was Caligula who appointed his own horse to the Senate. So in other words, he's saying that my horse has more sense than you to make decisions about our empire. Yep. How crazy is that? But yeah,
they're twisted people.
They're twisted, man. And it's the same energy today, where instead of the US citizens being able to dictate how they're going to live in their own country, you have people oppressing them in the same way that the colonizers did. Now it's just that they're doing it to their own.
Right.
Which, okay, so yeah, so that history we know. Protestant churches in Nazi Germany. Okay, the largest Protestant church in Germany in the 1930s was the Evangelical German Church. Now that's a very important title that you need to think about, that word evangelical. Okay, because they got a lot of our people bamboozled about this. Okay, so I'm gonna read this again so you know exactly what's going on and what the origins of this is. That the largest Protestant church, in which the majority of our people are Protestants, in the 1930s, was the Evangelical German Church, or the one they have today, Christian Nationals. And they comprise of 28 regional churches. So just like, that's why you see all throughout America, you see these different regions or religious organizations that they have to push forth this agenda. They just hide it in politics.
Right.
And vice versa. So 28 regional churches, or the German word is LANCESCURV, that included the three major theological traditions that had emerged from the Reformation, or the Lutheran, Reformed, and United. And most Germans, 40 million Protestants, were members of this church, although they were smaller, so-called CREE, C-R-E-E, Protestant churches such as Methodist and Baptist churches. And finally, historically, the German evangelical church viewed itself as one of the pillars of German culture and society, with a theologically grounded tradition of loyalty to the state. Now, I'm gonna let you read. I'm gonna read that again so you have full understanding and comprehension of what we're dealing with today. Okay, so what they're saying is, in order for you to be a Christian or Nazi or a Christian nationalist, then your religion has to be in line with their political or the state's view of the world or of the country.
And how compromised is that? You know what I mean?
Bruh, this is deep. And so that's why, you know, again, they don't have the right to tell us whether or not we can sing. And not only should it be sung at the Super Bowl, it should be sung at every event in America.
Yeah.
Without question. So historically, the German evangelical church viewed itself, just like today, as one of the pillars of, we can replace the word German with American culture and society, with a theologically or religiously grounded tradition of loyalty to the state. So in other words, you were not even considered a Christian or a good Nazi or a good white nationalist if you were not loyal to their state-sanctioned politics. And that is exactly what's going on today.
It has nothing to do with spirituality.
Nothing to do with spirituality at all. And I don't know why people keep talking about some Holy Ghost. All I've ever seen is an unholy ghost or a counterfeit spirit. That's all I've ever seen.
That's true.
I've never, although
the unholy ghost.
Use this more than
like
any
that.
other. Huh?
I like that. The unholy ghost.
That's all we look back through our history. And you know, when I first realized this, when I started studying the slave narratives, where you hear them talk about this living fire. And then as time went on, maybe about 50, 60 years later, then you didn't hear our people talking about the living fire no more. They replaced it with this Holy Ghost that white people told them about, which is the most unholy ghost I've ever seen. I've never. So to be clear, an unholy ghost enslaves people, breed women, cut them open for medical progress, enslave you on a plantation and your children for generations, take all of your land, take everything you own, treat you as, 1/5 of a human being. And I can go on and on and on. Okay. But yet you say that this is a God or a Holy Ghost I have to worship. I disagree with you on that, sir. And finally about this, during the 1920s, a movement emerged within the German evangelical church called the Deutsche Christen, or German Christians. And the German Christians embraced many of the nationalistic and racial aspects of its white Nazi ideology. And once the Nazis came to power, this group sought the creation of a national Reich church. And it was supported by a Nazified version of Christianity. Yeah. So if we want to go into the final aspect of the economic aspect of the presentation, my brother, y'all all right?
Oh yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
Just looking at all these little things around me jumping and buttons and computers.
Oh yeah, I know you. I know there's Lance, there's Scurv, there's, you know, everybody. Oh yeah, those 5 personalities. One of them gonna do something. Lancey, what you doing?
Right. Then people think I got 25. This guy's crazy. This guy left the country and he's still doing it. We can't touch him.
Right. Yeah, life ain't been no crystal stair, but we still standing.
That's right.
That's
right.
So if you, whichever one you start out with, then we're
okay, let me see.
Dissect.
There were 2 that I couldn't upload this way, but I'm gonna have them. But there's so many that I'm gonna have to weed through them. But we'll get them all up.
Okay.
Right. We'll get them all up. Let me see. I think this is one here.
Whichever one you start out with. So yeah. So let's talk. Can you go to another one first?
Sure. They have statistics here. This one here, I think.
Okay, let's do the statistics. Now, again, these are statistics that come from the documentary at PBS. You can look at it yourself. And PBS did a phenomenal. I even looked at where they got their statistics from. And again, I'm predicting that they're going to shut down our greatest major white institutions in America, because that also is where a lot of this data and information exists. Okay, so here we look at that Black people are 14% of the population, the US population, but yet they're only 5% of US wealth. Now, I want to say this to our people, because I see a lot of this stuff that y'all dealing with on YouTube. Now, when they say, oh, well, why are Black people not being affected by, this is some kind of bamboozlement that's going on. Okay. Now, when they refer to the fact that we still got our spirituality, our greatest weapon, and to some degree, we're not being totally demolished by these direct attacks, but we still have to come back to the economic reality of our people, okay? We are 14% of the US population, yet we're only 5%. We only have 5% of US wealth. Now let that sink in, and some of you need to sit down when Lance bring up this next statistic. For sure, some of you need to sit down. Yeah, if you're standing up.
All right.
White households are 65% of the US population, yet they control 80% of the US wealth. Now, again, I'll say to our people that there is some type of bamboozlement going on, because these people control, and we're talking about real wealth. You're not talking about how many cars you're driving around in, okay, and how many Gucci bags. Point. Yeah, how many Gucci bags you have, how many gold chains you have around your neck. We're not talking about that. We're talking about what the United States financial juggernaut considers wealth or accessual value. Okay, you think it's based on fiat, but it's not. So when these people are lying to you, oh, why are white people suffering, all of that? Don't fall for that. Okay. Again, they're trying to trick our people. They're not now their businesses are being shut down because the Luciferians want to take that away from them. And a lot of them are losing their jobs. But unlike us, they come together. Right. So they got all this wealth. And so you see the numbers are up. For us, it's skewed. upside down. This is not by coincidence. But when you talk about a population that has 80% of the wealth in a country, then you're pretty much talking about the people that control the not just the economic, but the social dynamics in the country. Okay.
Man, Goods is always getting me.
Yeah, he got you on that one. He got you on that one. He got you on that one. But this is a settling, a sobering statistic. And I don't want our people to get bamboozled here or hoodwinked. These people still hold economic power. So now, you know, you've got to change your way of what you're calling economic power. And again, it's not the clothes that you have, closet full of clothes and shoes, and you know what Cardi B is wearing or what Stephon Baby's mama is doing. That is not the situation that we're confronted with.
Right.
Okay. So if you could put that other statistic up again, Lance, I just want this to sink into our people's heads.
Okay. Let me see here. Oh, the one we just had up.
Yeah, the one we just had up.
Okay, I think it's this one, right?
Yeah, that's it. So now, the reality of the boots on the ground is we are 14% of the population, but yet we only control 5% of the U.S. wealth. Now, I'm going to let you do some research and find out the significance of that for us moving forward. Okay, brother, I'm ready to go to whatever other visual you have.
Okay, let's see. We have went through this one already. Okay, I think this one.
So how many you have left? Bingo.
Yeah.
So this is the one. So the percentages you just saw has everything to do with this. And when I was talking about the young white dude who had went to college and came back home and realized this, when he saw those pictures of those black men loading those boats and unloaded those boats and in the hot sun, and he was like, these are the people that built the wealth that my own family enjoyed. And see, when white people start looking at real history, things will change in this country. Because again, they have no matter what they're telling you on YouTube, oh, why aren't black people suffering? Or why aren't black people? Okay, we may not be suffering the way they're suffering because they're used to having, you know, way more than us. And now it's being taken away. But make no mistake about it, they have channels that they can correct that. At this time that we're looking at right here, that made America great, 60% of U.S. exports, and when you have these crazy people talking about who built America, this is what 4 million black people in these 13 colonies produce on the world market. And you can't put a figure on this today. That's why when they talk about why should black people get reparations? Because the 80% of wealth that you're enjoying today came from this. Because black folks did not benefit from this. So take a long, hard look at this, because we're not talking about 20% or 10%. This change, this was a global game changer that made the United States the superpower that it is today. I don't care what none of these crazy people are saying. Okay, this right here, by black enslaved people. 60%. Okay, my brother.
All right.
Yeah. Redlining, perfect. So now we know about the Homestead Act, where white people were given 2,6,200 acres of free land. Okay. That speaks for itself. But on top of that, so you see the same dynamic today. The government, because at that time you had white men that recognized, and then you had our powerful spiritual brothers during this time, like Martin, Malcolm, Marcus Garvey. Then you had the music, the civil rights music of our brother, like Bob Marley, what's his name? Gil Scott, Winter in America. You had Marvin Gaye singing about inner city blues. Then you had Curtis Mayfield singing about back to the world, when our soldiers returned back to America and how they were treated.
True artists, for real.
Oh, yes. True
that reflected,
artists.
You know, our heart and soul in those crucial times, and they weren't afraid to use their artistry.
That's right.
To speak
That's
for
right.
us.
And they didn't worry about how much fiat. They didn't.
And prophetic. Because you play those songs and they're still relevant today.
They're still relevant. They're more relevant today than they were then.
Yeah.
Actually. And you know, when I listen to them every day.
Yeah.
Because see, this is our real spirituality. It's not the stuff they got out here, giving our kids and not just kids, giving the coon and coonesses this fiat, worthless paper. But back during this time, they had I want to give an author's name who our people should become familiar with. Khalil Gibran Muhammad.
Oh, yeah. My mother read his books. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I grew up seeing it on the shelf at home.
I know you did. Oh, so your mother was deep dive, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
If he was somebody that they didn't fear, like they fear, what's the brother that wrote Black Skin, White Mask?
The
psychiatrist, huh?
Oh, no. Right now, I'm thinking about the other guy.
Frantz Fanon?
No, I was thinking about when you said black skin, it just triggered off.
Oh, the other, yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Black Robes, White Justice or something.
Yeah.
He was a judge. So, I went to hear him speak many years ago. Yeah.
Really?
But, no, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like Frantz Fanon, and also his book, Wretched of the Earth. And I want to give one other reference on Black Power and Black Theology and Black Power by James Cone. That's probably another book your mom had.
I had all the books there growing up. They were just like,
oh yeah,
you know,
oh yeah,
it's crazy.
So we were educated the right way, although we didn't know it at the time.
Right.
But Khalil Gibran did a fascinating piece on redlining. And so the U.S. government, the men back during that time, and we were just talking about our spiritual leaders who really pushed them to do the right thing because their voices was so strong, their spirit was so strong, and they couldn't be bought out. See, that's the difference with today too. They couldn't be bought out. They were following the real creative spirit. So that dynamic during that 10-year period. So they said, okay, so if we're going to allow these Negroes to have any type of improved quality of life, then we're going to set up a system where we're going to make sure that they are cheated out of the best homes or what they considered the best areas or regions. And they had this color code system. And of course, we know that these loans, these housing loans from the government, 85% of them went to white people.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then they put our people in these areas, just like they do today. Well, they use the new form of redlining where they use your zip code. That's why they ask you for your zip code with everything. They ain't got to know nothing else about you. All they need is your zip code. And once they have that,
it's a wrap.
It's a wrap, pretty much. But redlining denied the generational wealth, and why we only have 5% of the U.S. wealth was mainly centered around this redlining. So we were not able to pass down generational wealth through, equity in homes. And then they also had a system during that time where I think it was called payment contract, or it's sort of like the what they have today was lease with the option to buy, where the money you're paying for rent if you stay in a certain place is being put towards your down payment.
Yeah.
But with this wicked system they had for our people back in the day, they would be paying exorbitant prices,
of course,
for these old houses, and the money, no matter how many years they paid, and they had this cruel game they played. They would take our people all the way to the last payment, and then they would come up with something where they could have to steal the houses back.
Yeah.
It's very cruel, bro. Very cruel. And then that picture you had with the bank and that denied that hand there, that was showing what the banks did. Okay, so during this time, there were two banks along with the Freedmen's Bank. Okay, brother, you can go to another visual.
Okay.
Freedmen's Bank, thank you.
Okay. Before we move on, I just wanted to show this visual
okay.
of the book from Khalil Gibran.
Yeah,
that's what I grew up seeing on the shelf.
Me too. Okay, well, good.
There were some other books, but that's the one that sticks out of my head that my mother had on the shelf.
Powerful.
And I remember her having discussions about it with other friends, and I was real young, and I'm hearing all of this stuff. So that's why I'm attached to so much of our history, even from a peripheral vision from young. I'm comfortable with it because that's all I heard in my household growing up. So I had to be this way.
I believe it. I know that, man, one of the things that really hurt us now is that the vampires have replaced your mom, and our educated females with these type of females that you were talking about in the beginning. That's the new standard.
Yeah.
So many of our mothers and our women, we didn't learn what we learned in public schools. We learned it at home.
Yeah.
And so the things that our children are learning at home now is something totally different from our history. But Black people were denied loans for homes.
Yeah.
So the three, I think one of them was called Penny Savings Bank, that was started in Alabama. I forget, it was Birmingham, maybe. But this guy, Reverend somebody, he was able to loan money to Black people. And when you circulate dollars, particularly through a central location like a bank, which the other cultures do very well. And I know how people get angry at them because they do this. And yes, they've been given certain privileges over us when they come here. But again, we have to look at our central issue is that we don't have no banks that we can create jobs and finance our people. And so anytime so the reason why we had Black Wall Streets back during that time, because everything was kept in our communities. Okay, all of the commerce was done with other Black people.
Yes.
So now that they have you fighting over, or what I call identity politics, which is a caterpillar behavior, then you can't see who the real enemy is.
Right.
This is the problem with the other cultures. They have a problem identifying who their real enemy is. Not Black folk. If it wasn't for Black folks, you wouldn't even be here in the first place.
Wow.
And we have fought this battle for centuries. And I'm tired of seeing this disrespect, brother.
Yeah.
I'm tired of seeing.
Let me tell you
I've gotten
something.
to the point where I'm tired of seeing it because our people sacrifice a lot, bro, in the blood that's in America.
And they're erasing our history. And I just want to say something really quick another 90 seconds. As you spoke, and we spoke about my mother.
Yeah.
Her aunt that raised her, right?
Yeah.
Her mother was born in Bluefield, West Virginia, whatever.
Okay.
And her parents died when she was 2 years old in separate.
Wow.
Just, it was kind of freaky. So my mother's aunt, you know, took her under her wing and raised her. And years ago, I was doing a Blog Talk radio show. Had to be in 2011, 2012. And there's somebody who would call in regular when I mentioned, I guess you'd be considered my grandaunt, since that's my mother's aunt. When I mentioned her name, there was somebody who was actually a student of hers in Columbus, Ohio, because that's where she migrated to. Right. So while you were talking, I just said, let me just Google her name, because I wouldn't pull up anything really. And I just found this, brother. It's crazy. I just want to share it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you can see it on the screen.
Who is that?
That's my mother's aunt. That's my grandaunt.
Oh.
And her name is Kathleen Evelyn DeLoach. And
what was the last name?
August 2nd, 1909, born in West Virginia. Somebody in the Columbus Black History group on Facebook had this. She was a teacher, musician, composer, homemaker. Yeah.
What's her last name?
DeLoach.
DeLoach.
Yeah.
That's a popular
junior high school, beginning in the 1940s. She obtained an education in Bluefield State Teachers College and a BS and MS from the Ohio State University. She'll be forever be known as the person behind the writing of the song Old Columbus Town, amongst others. Wow. The couple resided right there, Sherborne Avenue, and I was, as a kid, going there. She passed away May of 1994, and my mother passed away in April of 94 after that. You see?
Wow.
So yeah, so that hurt my mother so much. And Mrs. DeLoach was married to Charles DeLoach, the first black hired civic engineer for the State Highway Patrol. Wow. So that's wild. And there's comments in here. I gotta reach out to some of these people who knew her. Look at her gravesite. That's Auntie. That's
wow.
And she came when my mother had cancer, breast cancer, and they found out that the tumor was malignant. She went to Sloan Kettering Hospital. Auntie, who you see here with her husband, my uncle, Charles DeLoach, they drove in their huge RV and they paid for the whole operation to have her breast removed, because it was another day. If they waited, it would have spread through the whole body. So this woman here is my family, even though she'll tell you that because she was so light-skinned, that she passed by under the radar of a lot of racism, but she wasn't trying to pass. A lot of
black people did that, bro.
Yeah, but she wasn't trying to pass, but they just looked at her and, you know, this is crazy. Sorry to take up too much time. I'm sitting here about to cry, and I'm like, whoa, that's my aunt. So yeah, I'm gonna take that down, but we're gonna continue on, man. And I gotta go check that out.
Bro, that's unbelievable. A great history, man. I knew it was something to your genetic memory bank.
Well, on both sides.
Okay.
You know, on both sides. There's a lot. There's a whole lot, you know, that I gotta put all of this stuff together, man, because it's mind-blowing.
That's a story in itself.
Yeah. Yeah. You know I'm Colin Powell's cousin.
I know.
I don't know if you know that. I ever told you? Yeah, that was proven. I have documentation with that. And my great grandfather is Archibald Sterling, the Scottish portrait artist. He has a Wikipedia page. And there's a couple other little humdingers in there that make me, I can never fall below a certain level. Like when you know what's behind you and you know what's in you, and you know you come from a bloodline where, look, I never went to college per se. I'm not educated that way. But there's something in me, and this is why I try to tell people that may not know their bloodline, that you have stuff in your bloodline you may not know, but when you feel it,
that's absolutely
it makes you unstoppable. See, because
absolutely right.
Right. I gotta represent.
Oh, no question.
I gotta represent.
Well, the university you went to is greater than any academic training that somebody could ever get.
I understand. Yeah. But I don't put down those who whatever. But
no, not
lots
at
of times when
Not
they get the piece of paper, they lose the spirit.
Yes.
And I'd rather have the spirit.
I agree.
Right. I mean, you can teach a person how to box, but unless you have that in you to be a fighter, any athlete can go through the movements, but if you're a fighter, you don't stop. You know what I mean? You ain't gonna kill the spirit.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
That's deep, brother. Yeah, you're gonna have to share that history with us. I'd like to know that myself.
I'm gonna talk about that and do something, do a little more research and reach out to these people, because maybe some of them, they're older enough, they might know my mother, you know.
Okay.
And that was basically my mother's mother, even though it's her aunt.
Okay.
You see, and my mother's parents, my grandparents passed away very young in her life, and she didn't really get to know them. But that's my mother's mother. It's her aunt, but that's who raised her and sent her to Juilliard School of Music. That's who did it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of those pictures, like back from our people from back in the day, they just had a different type of aura about them.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, you could feel it. You could see it in your auntie. You could see it in her face, where you don't see on our people today. And one of the main reasons for that is that we have let other people set our value system, where no matter how much you get, you're always going to feel less than. Because like you were saying, what's in your bloodline, you have disconnected from. You have cut off the umbilical cord to your bloodline spiritually. And that's where we find ourselves today.
And you see, these things that I know about my bloodline, seeing it out there celebrated in the world blows our mind. Because lots of times with our own people, when you share certain things, not from some spirit of trying to seek status, but to say, hey, this is what it is, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
They want to knock you, especially when you don't have all the proof, because we didn't have Facebook and YouTube back then, and so many things happen, you know?
I know about
and my mother was very stressed about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I have a brother who was 11 years older than me, out there on crack, brilliant, college educated, brilliant guy, but he was always on that. And then she knew her aunt, AKA her mother, was sick.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, her passing away a little bit before, it kind of took it out of her.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And see, she had a stroke the year before, and then she had that last stroke that took her out of here. And, you know, I went to visit her because where I worked was really close, and I came there and I worked late. I came there on a lunch break. And when I went there, she told me, she said, Lance, you know, I'm so sorry. I said, sorry about what? Because we were going through the stuff with my brother.
Oh, okay.
And I said, listen, you brought me into this world. You taught me all that I know, you and Daddy, who had passed 4 years before. I said, it's an honor to be able to help and take care, because I was taking care of things. And she thought that it was a burden. She never wanted to bother anybody, as much people as she helped. And then when I went to work, I got the phone call from the young lady that was there with her. I eventually married my first wife, and she had passed away. And I just got back to work, and I had to turn around and go back.
Wow.
She had a stroke, and she was brain dead. A couple of days later.
Oh, she was brain dead?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like when Sister Diane shared that on the show, she said, Lance, you've been through a lot more than you reveal. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
question.
Even to myself, when I shed tears, it's not pity, it's not weakness. It's me in my spirit coming up from what I've been through in a strong way. Like, I will not be stopped. I don't care who it is. There's too much behind me, and I've been through too much to come too far to be, in a way, a soul survivor.
Yeah.
I have my children, but I mean, from this generation of me, my generation, which within the last 2 weeks, I found out 3 people passed away that I grew up with.
Wow. That's
so that amps me up even more. I'm like, yo, I'm going to take more care of myself. I'm going to express more, leave more history, because I'm not a famous person or person who is, I'm an online guy, but I want to put more history out there.
Absolutely.
And inspiration.
Absolutely.
Because it makes you realize you represent, and you, Brother Neil, you represent so many people. And I realized that even more when we were speaking about basketball and the different things you've done and whatever. So you have to put stuff out there.
Yeah.
You have to share the stuff. You got to pass the baton.
Yeah.
No wonder if the world says it's something that needs to be up in lights. No, it don't matter. If you had the experience, like my connectedness to those days way back and how we used to be with each other as melanated people, I'm always going to fly that flag, no matter where I am.
No doubt.
I'm not letting it go. I'm going out fighting with that.
Oh, yeah. That's a fact. And that's evident in your work, brother. And you know something, I'll share something I probably never said publicly before. I never fitted in with the academic crowd because they would always say that I'll put it like this. Anytime I looked at an issue, I looked at it first from what the motive was for it. And I'm thinking to myself, so why do these black professors that's teaching us, not all of them, because a lot of them did, kudos to Dr. Kojo, but why are they skipping around? And so when I ask a question about it, another way, so like how the pastors do you when you ask questions about the Bible in their churches, how they try to shame you, they would make me feel like, okay, well, why are you even talking about that? Because it's relevant to me. I was a person who was raised on this crazy stuff about Christianity. It was embedded in me.
Right.
Okay, so now that I'm seeing the real picture, I'm being made to think something is wrong. Excommunicated from my family, excommunicated from most of my friends, so-called friends, which I found out there's no such thing, because they can't accept the fact that I have rejected this religion that has held our people captive for all of these centuries. Now, with that said, if we understand and comprehend our real spirituality, the church would be thriving more. But the reason why people are not going, because you're still talking about Peter and Paul and something that happened that we can't even verify. You have got, see, and that living fire that's inside of us, it also burns up those things. It rejects it. And you see it in our young people. They ain't trying to hear that mess. Unless they do, like a lot of them, now they have to live at home. So they got to go to church. All it, like I tell people all the time, I was just turning 15 when my dad put me out the house. I know that feeling. And me and my best friend, we had to do what we had to do to survive through high school.
Yes.
In living in a one-bed studio. So the challenges that we face today, even though they're different, when you look at the whole scope of things, incredibly, it's the same energy. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's not really any different, brother. And with that, I'll end the show. But I don't think that, I know that if we don't take a stand with who we are, and again, I give kudos to our people, they are taking a stand. We are woke. But you're going to have to go a step further, okay? The reason you're going to have to go a step further is because just like in every aspect of our existence in this country, and we came in contact with these people, they will do whatever they can to crush our spirit. Yes. And it doesn't matter. They'll use our own people to do that, okay? They'll pay other people from other cultures, obviously, Because they have this 80% of wealth. See, you don't see this. They use this wealth, it's weaponized against our people. They can buy media time and outlets. They can push a certain narrative that we can't. Okay. So we've got to now embrace, like that's why I always give Dr. Claude Anderson his props. Yes. You have to be team black. There's nothing wrong with you being team black. Because there's team brown, team yellow, team white. What else? Team green. But unfortunately, and I'll finish with this, because of the position that we're in socioeconomically, we have to bow down. We don't have to.
Right.
But certain people, and like you were saying, you have to go all the way. There is no middle ground. And right. This is what frightens our people, is that you have to give everything. You cannot, these people are not going to let you play in between the fences. Because as soon as they see you're leaning towards team black, oh, they're going to cut your balls off. And they're going to put you in a position where if you're not strong enough to stand up in the midst of this, what you're going through, then they're going to take you out. And I ain't just talking about unalive. I'm talking about they're going to take you out in every other aspect of human activity. I know. So kudos to you, my brother.
Yes.
Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
And we will not be denied. Lift every voice and sing.
That's right.
We're proud of who we are. Not only that, what we produce for America, 60% of their wealth, which no other country, by the way, has ever done. No other people, by the way, have ever done in history. You can go look for yourself.
That's right.
Where they have produced this for another people and then told something is wrong with them. Oh, you know what picture I wanted to show? You see the one with no money and no land? You see that one?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Gotcha.
Okay. I want to talk about this, if you permit me a little more time.
Oh, yeah, brother. I'm home. I'm home. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Okay. So
I ain't going nowhere.
I heard that. So now, what does this mean? This means the people that you made super wealthy, when you walk off those plantations, they gave you no land and no money. They took all your land and they know you didn't have no money. What did our people do? There was another sister, I think her name was Maggie. I can't remember her last name. She opened banks and made sure that 600 Black families were able to get mortgages, and she subsidized Black businesses in the building where the bank was, so it circulated, right?
Wow.
And her statement was, now let's take these coins, take all of our coins and turn them into dollars. And, you know, eventually they shut her down and stole all of her money. But, yo, just look at that for a minute. No land. Yes. Now, this is why we lift our voice and sing. No land, no money, no reparations, no acknowledgement of the people that gave you everything you and your children have enjoyed for over 400 years. No acknowledgement, and yet you want to erase our history. I don't think so. Okay, brother, I don't think so. What people, you talking about, here's the other thing too, you tell these people that come here to America that Black people are lazy and don't want to work. After you've taken all their land, all their money, they set up Black Wall Streets all over this country. And I'll finish with this. The number one, or the only, the only one that they recorded in history where there was a coup d'etat of an American duly sworn government of Black people in North Carolina that there was a terroristic act against them where they unalived over 100 people, ran the editor and publisher of the only black newspaper in that town, okay, ran him out of the country, I mean, out of the city, the state, and then took over that government by force. And I believe you have a visual with Durham, North Carolina, as the Wall Street. Because what people, they talk about Tulsa, Oklahoma, but there's a black Wall Street in Durham, North Carolina, that the government used eminent domain, I think it's called the Hyatt Act or something, to run like they do, highways through that section of the black-owned Wall Street. All right, my brother Lance. Well, you and the family, man, y'all take care.
Yes, brother.
I'll be talking to you again soon.
Yes, brother. Thank you so much. And the time you spent and the research that you do is much appreciated, over and above all measure. Okay? Thank you so much.
Peace and love.
Always, brother. Always.
Yes, sir. Ah, yeah, I feel good.
All right. I'm going to do some more work tonight. There'll be something being put up tonight more. I wanted to do more, but I got so much into this that, you know, that'll be saved for tomorrow. I'm going to do something. I'm already making the banner for the one I want to do tonight, but I want to do something live. I want to talk about 2 things, actually 3 things. I'll make them in 3 separate episodes live tomorrow. I want to do more, and I want to come back to the good old days, which are in the future, with everything hard hitting. And again, I say, sign up at LANCESCURVX.com, because some of those videos that will be hard hitting will be too hard hitting for YouTube. Because at this point, you know, I'll say it this way. I got that old man chip inside of me where I don't care what I say. I'm not holding back. But as you well know, you know, for those who are still living in West Israel, that's my slick way of saying America, certain people don't want you to say certain things. And I'm not scared. I still want to be out here to say what I say and bring you on over the other side so you can really get down and talk, because I really don't care about what these demons think, these planetary viruses, and I'm not going to be quelled anymore verbally. No way. Not that I was, but they just try to take down what you say or shadow ban you, whatever. Well, I'm going to bust up the shadow ban and say and speak from the heart on what I know to be real in my experiences, and not tailoring them or reducing them to not frighten somebody else. I've been through a lot. I'm going to talk about it straight up. You know, whether it's human nature, history, people I've known, people I represent. And it's not just me. I'm not saying that in a biggish kind of way. We all represent the sum total of all of the people that have crossed our paths and influenced us, whether they knew they were influencing us or not. Just as I speak about history and my bloodline, there's so much that floods back in my brain. I'm like, whoa, I forgot about this, I forgot about that. And it empowers you, it emboldens you. And you're supposed to run with that. You know what I mean? I mean, for those who may have a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, there's a point where you want to get on the road and put the pedal to the metal. You're not going to sit there and just, I'm just going to be polite and drive in a slow lane. You want to flex. A righteous flex. Why do we have to shut up? Why can't we be proud of who we are? Why do we have to tailor ourselves to fit into something else that don't like us in the first place? Why can't we spread our wings out wide and fly high and be who we are? But we have to hush about the state of the world and how things are. Well, they control these platforms for the most part, so they will knock you down. But if I have to get in a corner with a bullhorn, I'm going to do it in every single way. And just like many people who I know in my past as a child and coming up, And many people I know of that I remember their names or their faces and don't remember their names, they all have influenced me in a certain way. And you have to think about all of the people who are not here anymore, who have influenced you, and represent them accordingly. That's what every time, and even before they transition, represent them. They passed on something to you, make it glow, make it grow, represent it. Because as you can see, we're being scrubbed off of the internet. Books are not being published anymore. And like I learned from an individual many years ago who I never had a chance to connect with, it just happened that way. He had a collection of over 100,000 books, rare books. It was a man who lived in Georgia. I forgot his name. He's up there in years, and he reached out to me, and we were supposed to do a show together, but it never happened. And he told me that most books from the late 1800s, early 1900s, they were all purchased up by the small hats, them people, right? And they made second editions of these books, but removed crucial information out of the books that would definitely empower us. How wicked is that? They bought up the books, every one they could find, which, you know, there's going to be some sitting around that they didn't get. And again, this is why books are important. You have a book sitting on your coffee table. If they removed information from the internet, they can't touch that book. And this is why it's important to support writers who write books and write it truthfully, because they will try to compromise things and water it down. And if you don't have the basic information, that's like eating food that looks good and healthy, but all of the nutrition is extracted out of it. So you're going to weaken yourself and eventually get ill and die. It's not just the physical, which they're trying to come at us now the same way. The fertilizers that they have out here, even in West Africa, right? The atrazine and all of these fertilizers that I said I'm going to do a video on that when I go down to the market next. I'm going to go and show you all the bottles, and the first ingredient is that it feminizes us as men. If they strike you this way, physically, strike you another way. So each way may not look big. It's not like they just give you something and you drop down dead. They're dismantling us on every single level, mental, spiritual, and physical. And we're being programmed against each other. And I see it. I see the change. People say, Lance, man, you left America and you up in that house way up in the mountains. Ain't you lonely up there? Well, I was just as lonely in America because my whole world was changing. Like I said, 3 people in the last week and a half gone that I know. And we all must go. Yes, I understand, but that's too soon. And some of them, half of them were great people, but they were into different things and never really manifested the full so-called potential that they had. Brilliant brothers, one by one. And all of our time is coming. Before that time comes, before that final bell rings, there's going to be a hell of a fight, round by round. And hopefully we get the knockout. But the time is moving on. The rounds are moving on. And the judges are not on our side. They're wicked people. They're not going to give us the decision. We've got to win by knockout. The knockout of unity, self-sufficiency, independent thought, rejecting everything that they poison our minds with. There should be nobody in this day and age talking about, oh, yes, she has fair skin. So what's unfair skin? There should be nobody saying, oh, you got good hair. So what's bad hair? Oh, there's something I want to talk about, and it's been going on here in Ghana about that Russian white man who bedded down over 100 Ghanaian black women, and he might have HIV, but it was so easy to talk to them, going down to the same mall I go to every week, pick them up, bring them to his place, videotape the session. How did you get to this point so fast? Why are we so degraded? And it happened in the U.S. also. The other white guy who had, was it North Carolina or South Carolina? He just sweet talked these black women. And we think everything white is better. And the brothers too. Some of the most militant pro-black brothers I know, and some of you know. Some of you know. Can't keep their hands off the white woman. But they get online and talk this righteous, prophetic talk. But I know better. It's not for me to say. But from where I stand, where I'm looking, I'm like, man, look at this. For real? So we got to take care of ourselves first. We got to straighten ourselves first. A lot of people get out of here with this facade. They figure if they build this persona, that it changes the inside, but they don't want to change. Hold me accountable. I hold myself accountable all the time because I ain't perfect. You see what I mean? I know where my spots are. I know where my cracks are in the armor. I'm steady trying to weld them bad boys up. If we don't do it, we're doomed. We'll be in pictures or statues somewhere in some museum. These are the former African black people. Yes, they went extinct because we killed them off, slowly but surely. And they'll rewrite you out of history. If they had their way, 200 years from now, Muhammad Ali will be a white man with blonde hair and blue eyes. They steal everything else. They want the beauty of the black woman, but they can't have the soul and the spirit of the black woman. Can't do it. You can't copy it. You can't be a watered down virus and copy something so righteous. I say it all the time. These women trying to get hips and backside and all of this stuff. So do you expect a fly to land on an artificial plant? You still ain't got no soul. And I don't mean this in a sexual way. But I know many people up and down here now. I'm assimilated. And there's sisters that I know at the market, they see me. I saw one earlier today. I had to go downtown and pick up some plywood and some things, and my buddy helped me out. He has a pickup truck, so he drove me down. I said, oh, we got to stop, man. I got to get some more pineapple here because all the ones we have in the yard, yours truly ate them up, so I had to go refill. So there's a lady that I go to. There's a picture of me and her on Instagram. And so she hugged me, and the hug had so much, and this was not sexual, y'all. There was so much love and so much together, so much something. And it was, man, I felt so strong after that. And there's a love, a righteous love between us the same way with the sisters here in the chat room. It goes beyond me seeing you in front of me. They don't like that connection because that means we're going to live on strong to the future. Again, it's not a sexual thing. Yes, we will do that to bring our bodies and keep our bodies going, but that soul and that spirit that we have, they can't whip that. That's why they're always hitting us with the whip on different levels to discourage us, to beat us down, to have us not even knowing who we are. I come from a time period, and lucky that I had parents that taught me to deal from them single-digit ages, that I couldn't grasp everything, but I got enough. Like when you're looking through a window that has fog on it and you wipe it and you can see enough of it, but after a while the sun comes up, you see everything clear. So I got a heck of a momentum on my life. I might be 63 in April, but it's like I'm 90 years old because I was programmed righteously from young. So the things that I understood from conversations that I overheard in this world, in our community, no matter where we are globally, is under attack. It's a war, and we don't realize it. See? They're putting poison beats in the music, poison lyrics with the sweet beats. So we dancing to music. The beats sound good. There's certain songs come out. I'm like, I can't listen to that. I got to play the instrumental version. And it hits you, and you love it. And see, these kids are absorbing this. The filthy, bad stuff, the junk food, the things they put in their mind. They can't go beyond a certain level of consciousness with this low vibrational stuff that they're putting out. You see what I mean? Can't go up above, no matter how much information is really out there. They're not going to even gravitate toward it because of the low vibrational stuff that's put out. You keep feeding the kid donuts, he's going to want to keep eating cake and donuts because it's sweet, but it's bad for you. They'll never know what it's like to be healthy and strong. My brother Kevin was telling me the other day, you know, we poke jokes at each other about things in the past, and he was saying, man, we were laughing at you, man. You didn't realize it because one day you came from the gym and you were saying, man, I feel so strong. I feel so strong. Why can't we go back to that? Not on the ego level, but to get off on how mighty we are. To take pride in that. The same way we took pride on a Saturday morning to go get our hair cut, to go get a new outfit, to polish and wax our car and armor all the tires because we knew we had a beautiful young lady that we had to pick up that night. We had a date and we were going to go somewhere and we had to get right. It wasn't even about climbing up between her legs. A good night kiss on the cheek, on the steps, was enough to have you flying away because that's how powerful she was. What happened to those days? That's what I represent. I don't know nothing about this stuff today, and that's why I come against it. This world, our world, has been so watered down. So when you see a real one, you got to honor them. When you see a real one, and you know when you see a real one, if you're a woman, black woman who's been on this earth for a little while, and you lock eyes with another black woman in the public, and it's something, you know, you greet each other a little different. You might be in the supermarket checkout line and you're talking to each other, and you don't just do the preliminary, you jump right into something so deep. You might exchange phone numbers. I see a brother anywhere, and it's a certain way I carry myself in public, and I see that they got the same spirit. It's not just the physicality. You lock eyes and you know. That happened to me the other day. This wasn't no homo pickup type thing. I'm looking at him, he's looking at me. I passed him, I turned around, I said, brother, where are you from? He said, I'm from Chicago, man. I said, I'm from New York. You live here? Yeah, man, let me get your number. It was something about him. And we've been talking, I want to bring him on. So we got to see each other as energy, not just what we see as a facade. Don't be fooled, ladies, by the handsome man who's going to charm you. Check out his spirit. Brothers, just don't get fooled by the backside and the pretty smile. Check out the spirit. If they don't have that charge inside of them, that righteous charge, that loving charge, like an electrical charge. Sometimes you don't know if a person does have it in them, and you got to check it out. I remember I was doing some work in the attic of my house in New York City many years ago. This had to be 1994, 1995, 1994, around in there. And I didn't know if there was power in an electrical line that was hanging from the ceiling because I had gutted out the whole top 2 floors of the house, gutted it out down to the beams, windows out, everything. And I was going to rebuild it back. Man, those are some hard days going to work and coming there and working until the night. One night, I had worked so much that the lath board with the nails in it, when they put the plaster in those old houses, was a pile of it. And I was dirty. I had dust boogers, right? I was so tired, I just laid down in it and just fell asleep for 2 hours. But there was that wire hanging, and there was a light bulb there in it. And I was like, okay, there must not be no power because I'm throwing the switch and the light's not coming on. So I climbed the ladder and started to work on this electrical line. I wanted to move it over somewhere else and connect it so it could be a light that hung from the ceiling and run a switch. And as soon as I touched it, zap! Man, that thing shocked the mess out of me. I fell off the ladder on the floor. But wait a second, the light bulb didn't come on. The light bulb was blown. So I took it that there was no power in there. So sometimes, brothers, you'll see a woman who may not be this image of what the world says is beauty. But check out her energy. She might be a live one. And we overlook so many of our beautiful sisters, truly beautiful, because their dimensions or how they display themselves is not eye-catching. And you can build empires with that kind of woman. But we're so twisted in our mind and so pornoed out that we let that influence us. And that's no good. I don't know. I'm just having some mindgasms over here talking so much. I didn't mean to talk this much. I'm going to come back tomorrow with the same kind of talking. There's like about 2 or 3 things I want to talk about, but I want to get this thing up. I want to eat something real quick. It's 10:51 p.m. in West Africa, in Ghana, in the mountains. I'm a little tired. I may not put it off, but I'm going to work a little bit more, and I have to record something later on. And because we got that 5-hour difference going on. But just know that I love you all. I'm here. We're doing our thing. And yes, Diane, real knows real. Yes. I'm seeing the comments here. Yes, indeed. I'm going to look at them. I got to get some food in me. I've been sitting here under these lights for the longest time. But yeah, we're going to come out more bold and just suggest some things we can talk about. You know, I'm going to talk about things anyway. You know, I got like a long list of things I want to cover, things that pop up in my head. One that came to me in my mind today, and I'm like, oh, I got to write about that. It's something real deep. I want to talk real deep from things I see that you think I'm crazy. Like, this guy's losing it. I had somebody call me the other day, a friend of mine. She's like, Lance? I said, yeah. She's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm all right. She says, you've been talking about a lot of deep stuff right now. And, you know, and I'm like, no, I'm all right. I'm not supernovaing out. There's a lot more. So just know that I'm all right. Anyway, let me run, and we're going to talk in a little while. And I love this, that we can talk and vibe with each other and speak our mind. All right? Much love to you all. LANCESCURV out.
I'm trying to do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes, sir. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head.